1 minute. The Editor-in-Chief is live in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, very good morning to you. I'm Duncan, Garner, and this is Editor-in-Chief Live. Great to have your company this morning. Welcome to the program. Let's hear from you. 0800 863 293. Give us a go. We look at the plan to kickstart the live export of cattle out of New Zealand. We'll look at that this morning. The critics are lining up saying that it is cruel and does us huge reputational damage right across the country and the world. The man who was first there when it began is with us and says, we must stop this before it starts again. So we must stop this before it starts again. He says, does it worry you? Call me now. 0800 863 293. What do you think about it, farmers? And we're live across social media this morning. We're on Rover. We're on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and on Facebook. We should be there. Tune in. Sport with Johnny Day. Can the Warriors beat the Storm? We'll look at that shortly. And did the Peacock just cock things up? I turned the tables on RNZ's Mediawatch and ruffled the feathers of one Mr. Peacock who thought he'd spotted a king on our show. But wait. The peacock got confused. Did he strut into the wrong paddock? More on the bewildered one-eyed peacock shortly. And first, it is news time. Here's MediaWorks Deputy News Editor. It's Grace Cocker.
The Doctors' Union is angry over a hiring freeze on all non-frontline roles at Health NZ. They've only just found out about it and will be demanding a please explain at a summit in Wellington today. Sarah Dalton from the Association of Salaried Medical Specialists says key positions are affected.
We absolutely have evidence that it's frontline roles as well, and I would also suggest that this distinction between frontline or back office is a false one.
It's hoped police continue to take retail crime seriously. Around 75 charges have been laid against alleged shoplifters in Auckland during a recent crackdown. Retail NZ's Carolyn Young says there's still work to be done though.
The justice system needs to come into that whole space around how do we find solutions that are going to work for everyone. So, it's a start.
There's confusion over why St John ambulance staff were grilled for claiming overtime after responding to a critical call-out. Ambulance Association Chair Mark Quinn believes management is taking cost-saving measures too seriously.
It's very clear in the maka, the collective that we work under, that you can claim for starting early if you're sent by the comms.
Police in Australia are investigating the distribution of deep-fake pornographic images of schoolgirls. They were allegedly created by a teenager using AI. The victims are aged between 14 and 18. And Auckland Transport's urging people attending a rugby match in Eden Park tonight to plan ahead. It warns that industrial rail action continues to impact services. To sport, the Blackcaps T20 World Cup hopes have almost been certainly dashed after losing to host the West Indies. Captain Kane Williamson.
Yeah, frustrating, absolutely. To start the way we have, the equation's looking tough.
A dramatic finish in the NRL last night on Sky Sport.
Nico Hines, and it's no goal.
The Sharks missing a sideline conversion at full time as the Dolphins won 30-28, and a 3-over par opening round for Ryan Fox at the US Open. That's news in sport.
Okay, Grace, what's the warning around Eden Park? Because this is the quarter-final. No, this is the semi-final. The semi-final, Blues versus Brumbies.
Brumbies. Yep. Yeah, so it's because there's industrial action with the rail workers. It's been going on for a wee while now. So they're just saying, around peak times this afternoon, especially for those wanting to get there early, trying to get to the area, there's going to be reduced services. They might also have to cancel some trains if there's staffing issues. They're going to put a few special buses on, but I just couldn't think of anything worse than getting on a bus after a big game. And it's raining still.
It's about to be a big downpour in Auckland right now, so there was a rain check warning on that right now. But this will last throughout the day, and you can't get there. This is hopeless.
And I feel like this constantly happens, right? We always have these big events, and then there's no public transport.
Yeah, I know. Hopeless. Pies. You want butter chicken pie, don't you?
Oh my God, I love butter
Do
chicken
you love
pie
them,
so
hey?
much. Yes, I'm so basic. That and steak and cheese.
Right, can we get you one into the studio? Can we get you one in here?
I would be very happy.
That's the challenge. Good morning, folks.
Garner.
Okay, so animal exports. I want to talk about animal exports. In New Zealand, banned live animal exports on ships last year, but this government wants to bring them back, bring the whole practice back, which is interesting. Agriculture Minister Todd McClay says they'll make sure that animals are well cared for, but regardless, cattle will still spend 3 bewildering weeks at sea in what many say is a cruel and unnecessary practice. I mean, they're sending their own faeces, aren't they? So why bring it back? And will it even make farmers much more money? Is it profitable? Is it worth it? Dr. John Hellstrom was the Chief Veterinary Officer for the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries back when live exports first started in New Zealand. He says not only is it cruel, but reinstating it has massive reputational risks. He started a petition to stop the practice, and as of now, he has over about 46,000 signatures. Not bad. I think that ends tonight, so join up. Dr. John joins me now from the Marlborough Sounds. John, thanks so much for your time. Why is it so bad?
It's two things, Duncan. The trade itself, the shipments itself are pretty unpleasant for cattle, and even when they get their so-called gold standard, it's still not a good experience. But it's the lives at the other end that concern me as well. These animals are being shipped from pretty good welfare conditions in New Zealand to a range of awful to really bad welfare conditions in the countries they go to, all of them.
What's in it for us? My understanding is we don't make a huge amount of dough out of it.
Well, there's a lot of arguments about that, but even at the most optimistic estimates of $400 or $500 million a year, it's still a very small contribution to our overall trade. But those numbers are pretty much inflated. If you look at the trade over the last 10 years, it's averaged less than $200 million a year.
Yeah, well, what's...
Oh, the other thing is that this is run by Australian companies, so there are some benefits to New Zealand, but most of the money goes offshore.
Oh, hang on. So they're our animals, and
they're our animals.
Our reputational risk, but the Australians benefit. What's the point?
Well, it's pretty standard Aussie tactic.
Yeah, isn't it? Okay, so why is New Zealand relying on the Australians to do it? Why, they haven't told the full story about this, have they?
Well, the Australians have been running this industry for longer than we have, and they're very gung-ho about it. As you'll be aware, there's a big brew up in Australia at the moment because the new government's trying to cut out live sheep exports, which is a small part of their trade. But it's a very strong industry over there, and they've got strong lobbying, and they keep pushing at it. And we've got a lot of animals in New Zealand which they can pick up and add to their trade.
Yeah, which they want to do, of course, and we pick up a few cents for that. Now take me onto the boats. What do these cattle and so forth, livestock, what do they typically go through over this voyage?
So they're put into pens. The stocking rates within those pens used to be really bad. They're a lot better now. In the earlier days of the trade, it was very hard for the animals to lie down all at the same time. But if things go bad on the voyage, and about 10% of voyagers have problems with mechanical problems or climatic problems, they start to get into a pretty miserable situation, lying in their own feces and generally getting caked in feces, getting a lot of heat stress. The only way you can cool these animals down when they go through the tropics is to pump air over them. There's no air conditioning, so it means you blow a lot of hot air over them. It doesn't cool them down very much. No,
I mean, and sitting in your, what is a 3-week voyage, sitting in your feces, what does that do for you?
I guess it makes you feel pretty grumpy, Duncan. It's not a nice thing to do. Cattle don't like being covered like that. But the other thing is lameness can be quite a problem on these voyages because they're on hard steel floors. Now they put material down to cover the floors, hay, or well, not hay, but crushed material, even sand sometimes. But that needs to be refreshed, and sometimes they can't do that during the voyage.
And do they? Silly question, but I need to ask it. Do they get seasick?
No, they can't get seasick. It's the nature of a ruminant. There's too many other stomachs in the way, but there's no doubt they can get pretty miserable with the motion. And if they run into bad weather and start getting thrown around, there's the chance of injuries and so on.
Yeah. Do they die on these? Do many reported deaths on these voyages?
Not that many. So that's the one welfare thing that's monitored. You put 5,000 cows on a ship and you take 4,999 off the other end. That's regarded as a good voyage. The average mortality is about 4 to 5 animals per trip. But death is a really poor measure of welfare. If we only measured human welfare by the people who die, we'd miss out most of the distress.
Yes. What's the big bonus with exporting live cattle? Why is it so? Why are they so desperate to do it?
The farmers here in New Zealand get a premium for the animals they provide to the trade, so there's extra profit for them. And of course, the businesses, the companies that run the trade, obviously are clipping the ticket, and that's their incentive.
Right. And so how can people...
As far as the other end, they do need the animals, but there are other ways of getting them, of course.
Yeah, well, what are the other ways of getting them? I mean, how could they do this?
Oh, importing embryos and semen, obviously.
Yeah, so this is a much easier way, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, that's how we do it. We don't import a lot of our live animals into New Zealand. They come in frozen cans.
So when you were there, did you have concerns then? Were you sort of worried when this was going on when you were there?
Yes, right from the very start. So I was actually in charge of the welfare section of MAF when this trade first started, and I argued against it right from the very beginning. We had some terrible experiences back in the late 80s and early 1990s with thousands of sheep dying on voyages to the Middle East. There wasn't much cattle shipment going on at that time. It was mainly sheep for slaughter. The live cattle trade has grown more recently in the last 15 or 20 years, particularly with the interest from China. We've shipped 500,000 cattle to China. That's 10% of our total dairy herd. So we're talking about a lot of animals.
And over what period have we done that?
Since 2015. Last 9 years.
We've shipped half our cattle herd to China.
No, 10%.
10%. Okay, so 10% of our cattle herd to China. That's still a big number.
It's a big number, 550,000. Yeah.
Right, and do we know what sort of money we've made out of that?
Oh, the estimate is, as I say, about $2 or $3 million $200 or $300 million a year.
It's just nothing. If you look at New Zealand's GDP and you look at $200 or $300 million, that's a drop in the ocean. It doesn't change. It doesn't change the dial on anything.
Yeah, it's less than 0.02% of our agricultural trade.
That's correct. Final question: the reputational risk, does it impact us or not?
Yes, it's a really interesting question because we see with this petition, we've actually had a lot of interest from overseas. So there are people who've been calling in from Australia, England, Europe, North America, and signing our petition. It's mainly New Zealanders, but it's an indication of concern from overseas.
Yeah, that's for sure.
The reputational risk is in the supermarkets. When people go to see New Zealand produce on the shelf and they know that we're re-entering this trade, which both the UK and Australia and even Brazil are trying to shut down at the moment.
Yeah, so we're an outlier. We're one of the outliers, eh?
Well, we're the world leader at the moment. We're about to become an outlier, the only country going against the tide.
Yeah,
this is a trade that's had its day. It's an old way of thinking, an old way of trading, and most farmers recognise that. We've had a lot of support from farmers for this petition, Duncan.
How can people sign up? Because I think it's today the last day. I think you better tell people how to sign up.
Yeah, click on the parliamentary petition website, and if you just search on Hellstrom on my name, you'll find it. It's really rocketing along at the moment. We're getting more signatures every 24 hours than we've had since right at the beginning of the petition. So everyone counts.
They certainly do. Let's boost it again this morning. So thank you for your time, sir. Really appreciate it. All the very best.
Thanks, Duncan.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Garner.
Okay, 0800 863 293. Pretty unequivocal, wasn't he? It's not good. You've said to me this morning, Braddock has said, isn't it funny how the cattle are so bad for our environment, but yet they will put them on a huge ship and send them on a long voyage, creating more pollution, all for a few extra bucks. So what do we care more about, dollars or our integrity as a nation, says Dave? As also we import meat from countries that have much lower standards than us. Lots of feedback coming in. I'm highly against live shipping, says Dave. Yeah, I can see that. And Suzanne has said to me, emoji, sad face.
Garner.
Right, Johnny Day talks sport. Johnny, g'day, good morning.
G'day, Duncan.
Shocker.
How are you, mate?
Shocker.
Yeah, no good, eh? The
Shocker.
Blackcaps at the T20 World Cup hammered by Afghanistan, losing to the West Indies yesterday, and after 2 games, she's all over. big questions about the preparation of the team. We knew this World Cup was happening. We knew half of our squad was at the IPL and we're going to arrive late, but we still couldn't get the logistics around organising a warm-up game, which we saw from our batting in both games. We needed more time to adjust to the tricky conditions. We didn't get it. This is a massive oversight by the management of the Blackcaps, so they're going to have huge questions to answer once they get home.
Yeah, no, well said. This is a massive fumble and stumble, and this is putting money before nation.
Well, yeah, I get it, but the IPL, like, you make $2 million in 2 months. Are you going to stop Kane Williamson?
Yeah, that's my case.
From doing that? But
yeah.
I don't think it's stopping them. There's several other countries who have IPL players, Afghanistan being one of them, who actually play bloody well. So
how do you stuff it up?
I don't think we can blame the IPL here. It's bad preparation and then bad selection as well, and then just bad skills.
Yes.
Like the death bowling yesterday. Why are we bowling Daryl Mitchell, a part-timer, in the 19th over against the West Indies? You get smashed for 19 runs. I love Daryl Mitchell.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but it's bad captaincy. We didn't select Ish Sodhi for either games in spinning conditions. He's the best spinner we've had in T20 cricket for the last 10 years. Devon Conway, horribly out of form.
Isn't he, though?
We gave him the gloves as well, so he was doing dual duty and then just absolutely failed. So these guys were set up to fail over there, I feel.
And they walked right into it, didn't
they did big time. So, but hey, we play Uganda tomorrow, so that'll be fun.
Let's have a little sweepstake. Could we lose to Uganda?
No, we won't.
Here we
no,
go.
we won't. We won't. And then we play Papua New Guinea, and then we come home, unfortunately. So this team, who has been brilliant at World Cups for the last 9 years, are going to go home early from the West Indies.
Yeah, we're speaking with Johnny Day for the Sporting Rumble. We are talking Super Rugby semi-finals. It's going to hose down in Auckland today, isn't it?
It is. It's going to be wet, and I think the Brumbies will be licking their lips at that, because no Patrick Tuipulotu for the Blues. The engine room is weakened, and the Brumbies love a line-out drive. It's their go-to. So
isn't it? Close to the line too, it's dangerous.
They're going to need to be disciplined tonight, the Blues, and they have been under Vern Cotter. Stern Vern, he's done wonders with them.
Good, eh?
Yeah, really good. And just a class act at
He's
all the
got some
press conferences.
spine in them, eh?
He has, yeah. They're looking very, very good. Hoskins Satutu at the back there, and Dalton Papali'i. Akira Ioane is fit and will play tonight, but don't underestimate the Brumbies. They've been at this stage of the tournament so many times before, and they haven't been at the final since 2013.
Yeah, they'll be hungry.
So they'll absolutely be hungry. So this is a bit of a danger one tonight. And then tomorrow at 4:35 at the Cake Tin, which has to be the worst rugby ground in New Zealand.
Why?
Knock down the circular stand is disgraceful.
What about Eden Park? That's shit.
Yeah, well, it's better than the Cake Tin. I'll give you that much. When you're sitting in there watching rugby, you feel so far away, and it's normally a gale wind swirling in there. And if it wasn't for the entertaining teams on the paddock, you'd be like, geez, can we go back to
I hadn't thought of it like that.
The Mallard stand
at
Athletic Park?
No, you don't want that. I mean, did you ever go in there?
I did once.
Shocker.
Oh, mate, I was clinging onto the stands when I was climbing up there as a young boy, and it was freezing cold and horrible.
Yeah.
But I just think, why do you need the circular stand there? Because you play cricket at the Basin Reserve, build a rectangular stand
it's too late.
instead. But it is too late. But lucky we've got a great game tomorrow. And Caleb, I know he's a big Canes man, sitting there, your producer. And
same, mate.
I think they might lose.
I'm a State of Origin. I was born in Wellington.
Really? Are you Canes as well?
Shit, yes.
Well, I think they might lose tomorrow.
That's John Day Sport.
Well, I just like the Chiefs lost the final last year, and sure
they
don't
play
have,
good for footy at this time of year, too.
And they're due, like they haven't hit their straps.
But they're away from home.
Yeah, I know, but just like I said, it's not really a graveyard for teams, is it? Like the All Blacks always lose at Westpac Stadium. It's not a fortress, so going to the Cake Tin isn't scary for opposing teams.
I said to my son a couple of days ago, hey, I'll get some tickets. I just saw the thing come from the Chiefs that they're in the semis and, buy your tickets here. So I thought, oh, great, it's in Hamilton. So I went online and I said to Buster, how many of your mates want to come? Yep, 4. Okay, so I went online, $150, about to press tick on the credit card, and he goes, it's Wellington.
Yeah. Well, mate, we had on the Sporting Rumble podcast, which you mentioned, Conrad Smith, one of the greatest Hurricanes ever, and even he said he wasn't expecting this team to finish top of the table. They've had a remarkable season.
They've defied, and that Looseford trio, they've defied the game.
Yep, Lakai, Uwase, and they've got Brad Shields back, who's been awesome returning from the UK.
Is there an All Black in there?
Yeah, for sure. Lakai.
Lakai, you reckon?
Lakai, I reckon. Uwase is there or thereabouts, but Artie comes back to number 8, and you've also got, help me, number 8, Hoskins, who I mentioned from the Blues, so a couple ahead of him.
Yeah.
Well, the selectors will be sitting there with their little scratch pads over tonight and tomorrow, and a lot of decisions, I think, will be made about that All Black squad.
All Black trials, aren't they?
Very much so.
The WARs.
Up the wires against the Storm, though.
It's back, isn't it? Up the wires is back?
Yeah, it never left Duncan, unless you're one of those bandwagoners. But they were always going to come right. Too well coached, too many good players.
Yep.
But the Storm, they haven't beaten for 9 years. 9 years, that's a long time.
They usually get caned as well.
And, well, not the last game where they needed an acrobatic try in the corner. You'll remember that to break their hearts. But sold out Mount Smart again. Warriors on a roll. Maybe this is the time they can beat the Storm.
Quickly, US golf.
Yeah, and Ryan Fox, no good, unfortunately. 3 over par opening round, so he's about 109th, 110th. I think the cuts at the moment is going to be 1 over. So he's got to have a good round tomorrow. Better than Tiger, though. He's 4 over par, and Patrick Cantlay is 5 under.
It's a great level of golf, isn't it?
Hell yeah, especially these courses that they play at. Pinehurst number 2, which has been awesome going down memory lane this week with Michael Campbell, of course, 19 years ago at that course.
Remember that?
Oh, it was the most amazing thing you'll ever see as a New Zealander, watching Michael Campbell beat Tiger Woods in his prime at a major.
I saw something the other day. He lives overseas, doesn't he, now?
Cambo? Yeah, Spain?
Yeah, Spain. And he
Very
has
nice.
a golf course, has a golf training school and everything.
Yeah, and he had his clothing line back in the day, the old Cambo polos. And just finally, if you're a football fan, which I'm not, Euro 2024 kicks off tomorrow morning. Germany are playing Scotland. It's basically the best teams in Europe for the next month, so you get your football fix.
John Day, you're the best. Appreciate it, mate. Good stuff.
Yeah, mate.
Garner.
Okay, 0800 863 293 is the number. I want the Canes to win, just saying, says James. Tooksy says Canes. Braddock says Canes. It's Canes. They deserve it. They did go Chief on the TikToks. Is TikTok saying go Chiefs? Yeah, is that one person?
Yeah, people say go Chiefs on the TikTok.
Yeah, but Canes is where my heart is. It's where my heart is. Right, so let's go.
3 questions from the Editor-in-Chief.
At number 1, so do we drive faster or slower? That's the question. The police consistently are telling us to slow down, speed kills, and we drive too fast. Speed is the one factor that comes through with all our road deaths. But the government says it's time to speed up and is ditching all the previous government's slow down measures to slow us down on our roads, except outside schools. That stays 30, and we support that. But it's asking for feedback on whether we should go 120 k's per hour on our best new roads built for speed and with safety in mind. My submission is yes, it's about time. Nothing more frustrating than driving slowly on a road that's been designed to drive fast on. The new motorway north of Auckland is a case in point. You see, you have to basically drive with your brakes on to go 100. So let's get on with it. If it freaks you out doing 120, then move to your left and stay there. And make it an offence to sit in the fast lane doing under the speed limit. It frustrates the hell out of people and equally should be punished as well. So, number 2. At 2 is this fear. I'm worried how much we pay some of our local councillors and mayors, as in not enough. Auckland's Wayne Brown is $296,000. That's okay. But spare a thought for the Deputy Mayor of Stratford and Taranaki. Deputy Mayor, they're on 32k. When the Mayor of the town's 107k. But 32k with the average wage is 48k across the country seems a bit tough. But it's worse for the councillors in South Wairarapa who get paid $18,000 a year. That's the dole. Less than half the legal minimum wage in New Zealand. But there are 9 of them. A mayor, a deputy and 9 councillors for Southern Wairarapa. 9 councillors. I reckon we're overgoverned and potentially we're underpaid, aren't we?
Garner.
And at number 3 today, number 3 goes like this. Have we been sold a pup? The government promised its boot camps for youth offenders would see them sent away for up to 12 months or up to a year to face the music, face some sort of military-style discipline and whatever else it is that boot camps do. But hang on, the Nats have now made these things 3 months before the offender gets sent home to the whānau for some supervision. Isn't that half the issue? There's no damn supervision at home. The government says, calm down, it'll have a mentor dropping by all the time to make sure that the teenager stays on track. I think I can see some problems with this. What do you think?
Garner.
0800 863 293. It's time to look back at some of the big political stories of the week. On the agenda, there was mining, there was the fast-track protests, the government's decision to leave farming out of the emissions trading scheme. Agriculture comes out of there. Big get-out-of-jail-free card. And, of course, those details emerging around the boot camps for youth offenders, how it's going to work from 12 months to 3. It's not so good now, is it? Holly Bennett is with us from the political podcast, 3 Girls, 1 Beehive. She's brilliant too, and joins me now. How are you going?
Kia ora, good morning.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah, you were good in here last time. You were good. People said you were good. Where do we start? Let's start with boot camps. Go boot camps. What do you reckon?
Personally, I don't like them as an idea, but I think the issue that we're talking about right now is the fact that Oranga Tamariki has sort of put out expressions of interest for support, and I do think that we actually need to talk about the fact that...
They're going to run it?
Yeah, and the fact
dear.
the fact that 4 months ago the Ombudsman said that there's systemic problems still in Oranga Tamariki.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why we're having this push towards putting more people in a system that clearly isn't working.
But why would they run it? I thought whenever I see their name mentioned with anything, I think, okay, cock up coming. You know?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so all we're doing right now, I mean, to be fair to them, they've put out an expression of interest to see who will support them to deliver these programs. However, we're in 20 years' time, the children that are going into these systems, we're just going to end up with another inquiry.
Yep. And so 3 months, they're making them 3 months now. So
Yeah.
that's a whirlwind stuff. They were saying up to a year. So 3 months
Correct.
is.
Why?
What's
why?
the point?
Yeah, exactly.
And then send them home to supervision.
Correct. And some people are going to earn some money off this as well. There will be somebody clipping the ticket somewhere.
Always.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you have to run them, right? Well, where's the army? I thought the army was involved in kicking butt on this sort of thing.
I don't know. They've probably got all their new tools now, so they're having a good time
Yeah.
out in the plains.
Yeah, but I just think it's a little bit underwhelming, isn't it, as an
Correct.
announcement? Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you expect something tougher?
Oh, well, the way they were talking pre-election, right? You'd
Yeah.
imagine they would because they were pretty gung-ho. And I mean, even with information saying that boot camps don't necessarily work, they still pushed on. So it does seem like a little bit of a U-turn.
It looks to me like what they've done is they're sort of passing the buck. Like they haven't thought about it that much.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Boot camp sounds good. Boot camp. Yeah. Catchphrase. Voters tick yes. Voters go woo. But then they get there and they have no bloody idea how to do it. So they go whoop. Someone else.
To be fair, though, do you like being told what to do?
I've always hated it.
Exactly, me too.
Yeah, but I still get told what to do.
Well, me too. But that's probably why we're here, because the thing is that we don't like being told what to do.
When
so
were you told to do something last? When was the last time you were told to do something?
Oh, well, I got told recently, get off social media.
You keep doing what you do, eh? So you worry about that. I mean, that means you're making an impact. That means you're good.
Thank you.
Okay, so I want to talk also about mining.
Yep.
Fast track and that sort of thing.
Yes.
Huge big protest, 20,000.
Yes. Yep.
10 years ago it was 50,000.
Yep.
So people still have an issue with this.
Yep.
Big time.
Yep.
What's your take?
We just need to bring it back to what this issue, what it really is about, and it's about consents. Do people believe that consents are a right or a privilege? If they're a privilege, you don't get them as a right. The companies that are saying you need to give us these things seem to think that their consent is a right.
Well, their mates are in power now, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that is why this needs to be a thing that we really, really talk about, because lots of these businesses are saying to the state, the financial viability of our company relies on this consent.
Yeah.
That is not the state's responsibility.
TY Point has said for years, every 10 years they come and threaten us with leaving the country. They've now signed up till 2044, so don't give me that.
Exactly.
They are here, they've got the plant, they've got the equipment, they stay.
And because they're looking at a financial return, I understand it, I run a business, but the problem is that you saying to the state, you're making it too hard,
Yes.
look at yourself.
Yes.
Talk about making your business operations better. That's what we all have to do.
Yeah, they're trying to, they think they've got this mandate now because things have been so slow and stalled around development and so forth, that now is the time that there is a mandate to do this. I'm not sure there isn't. We've got to remember health, safety, all that sort of thing as well. We can't be over the top, but we've got to make sure all the safeguards are in place.
What's that word? Pragmatism.
Yeah.
So you need to
Well, maybe this is pragmatic.
Well, I don't think they're being pragmatic. I think they're being arrogant because they're saying we have had it this way for such a long time, so you should keep doing it. That's why I find it mind-boggling that ministers have put them right themselves in the middle of the fray here.
They really have, though.
What are they doing?
Well, it's ministerial direction now. So they'll get the request, let's say, to build a big new harbour bridge, if only, and that will go to a minister. Then the minister passes it to a committee of his choice. Shane Jones' choice. They'll have a quick look at it and do all the work that all the different courts would do in tribunals, and then pass it back to Shane and say yes or no, and then Shane will say yes or no.
Yeah, exactly. Why? I mean, when I worked in the Beehive, we wanted our ministers away from political risk. We were not trying to throw them in the firing line to be responsible for decisions of this magnitude.
You give them wriggle room.
Exactly. That's what spin is. That's what you're trying to do. And yet somehow they've walked themselves right into this. So we either have two things going here. Political naivety, or people are trying to do something for vested interests. And you and I both know...
What do you think it is?
Well, it's not number one, is it?
No, it's not, because they've been there before, and they've got Joyce and Key and all those guys, helping them out. So it's the latter. But you're not saying that there's been corruption.
No, I didn't say that.
No, you didn't.
But I am a lobbyist, so I'm very well aware how to grease the wheels.
Yeah.
And this is the thing.
And did you see the donors? Did you see the donations?
I did.
National had more, I think $4 million, more money than ever before in the history.
So are we really going to allow ourselves to be lulled into this idea that a consent is a right? It is not. It's a privilege. That's what the state needs to decide. It needs to have a backbone.
Yes, and more moves for friends of the industry. The agriculture sector coming out of the ETS.
Yes.
Which is significant because that means there's no price on carbon. They don't have to get in that trade, and they will look for solutions down the road. They kick the can down the road.
Yep.
Again, it's a free pass.
Yes, correct. And I don't know too much about this topic to have a good in-depth view on it, but I do think that given it is our biggest emitter, we actually need it in there, but we need to think about this pragmatically.
Yes, well, maybe this is pragmatic. Take them out and just wait another day. But are we in a climate emergency or not?
Well, I think it's undeniable that we are.
Yeah, well, maybe not though, because if we're not, then you can delay things.
But
you know what I mean? That's which is what they've done.
Yeah, well,
you know, it's either one or the other, isn't it?
Well, I definitely think the way in which the environment is responding, we are in an emergency.
Of course. In 30 years, I've asked this question: when's farming going in? In 30 years, they've just kicked the can down the road.
Yeah.
30 years of it.
Yeah. Yeah, and the stupid part is too, there's heaps of farmers who actually see how they can improve their operations and they're just getting on with doing it. And then there's parts of the sector that are like, no, and they're very adverse to improving their operations. And it's really pulling those ones forward, saying, we'll help you improve your operations. Yeah.
Give us some skin. You've been great. Okay. Thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate it. Good stuff. Well done.
Garner.
Okay, so 0800 863 293. Anything to do with mining should have royalties and dividends at the top of the list. Everybody eats. And you're asking me, is that a wine glass, Marty? It is, but it's water. Caleb, can you just confirm the water thing? Because they may not believe me.
Yep,
it's water, isn't it?
It's 100% water.
Yeah. You got your Warriors jersey on today. You're a big Wars man. I thought you were a rugby man. Caleb.
Yeah, I'm a bit of both.
You're a
I
Hurricanes
like both.
man. Yeah, you're a Hurricanes man.
Yeah. Love the Hurricanes and Warriors as well. Going along to the Wires tomorrow night.
Are you? Oh, you got tickets. How do you get tickets? You're really hard to get tickets.
Well, my mate's a ground announcer.
Oh, you got freebies. Oh.
Freebies to a sold-out game, everyone.
Nice to be you.
How good's that?
Yeah, 0800 don't do that now. 0800 863 293 is the number. Very good morning to you.
It's the Slam Dunk.
Okay, so we've been going now for, 3 weeks, and thank you for following us. We've had all sorts of feedback, which has been appreciated, and we've had quite a bit of interest from state-funded broadcaster Radio New Zealand, who dedicated a Sunday morning Mediawatch program to critiquing us. That was them. Brilliant.
This is Mediawatch. I'm Colin Peacock.
This is our target, I think. Anyway, despite their desperate and breathless search to find things wrong on day one and day two of this podcast, I wonder if they may have watched and listened to something else. Ended up thinking it was me or something. Somehow they got confused. Did they even listen or watch the show before boucin all ripping into us and sniggering? First, though, the snigger. I do enjoy the snigger.
Authored opinion piece which is called Slam Dunk.
Oh.
Good name.
Oh, I'm going to play that again. Oh.
Authored opinion piece which is called Slam Dunk.
Oh.
Good name.
Oh my God, how terrible. Slam Dunk. And then the best bit, I love this bit. The bloke who runs Mediawatch goes by the name Peacock, as in Colin Peacock, spends every week ripping the guts out of what the media does. The moral judge strutting on his lonely hill mocks us for our technical difficulties. Listen to this.
So on day one, didn't quite go smoothly.
And I'll just hit some buttons here and I'll get my feedback. What am I pressing here, Forrester? What am I looking for here, mate? Am I going to press one of these buttons here, or how's it going to work?
And they are, I think, ironing out some of those gremlins, which means that the audio and video is not firing on, or hasn't every day on, some things.
How would you know, though, Colin? I mean, are you listening? Because Colin the Peacock gets a bit complacent and confused. He goes on to say that we had Mike King in here on day two of the show, plus all those other things that he said, that things like all the things going wrong. But Mike King, did we, Colin?
They had Mike King, I think, was on the program the second day.
Hang on. You think Mike King was on the second day? Can you be more sort of certain that he was?
They had Mike King, I think, was on the program the second day.
And this is a pre-recorded sort of show for him. It's not live. You've made a mistake, Colin. Mike King wasn't anywhere near the show. What show were you judging and listening to? And all your criticisms of the show, I wonder if you even watched us. Are you sure? If you're going to play judge and jury and executioner on us and review the show, we think you should actually watch it or listen and not rely on some lazy third-hand, whatever it is that you listen to. I don't know where you were on day 2, but it wasn't with us because you say we had Mike King on and we did not have Mike King on, okay? Wrong Colin, wrong podcast, wrong show, not us. Not I, not in your dreams and not on our show. We think Mike King is great and he'll one day appear on the show, but you are mistaken and we don't know how you got that wrong. Perhaps in reviewing us, you sat down and watched and listened to somebody else and we are as confused as you. Where were you when you said it? And I wonder how you got it so wrong. Anyway, we don't expect you to pause to put it right. We welcome your interest in our show. If indeed you watch it at all, I also note you said it's a bit sweary what we do, but not as much as the previous podcast, you said. Well, we personally don't think it's as sweary as this. Now, before I tell you where all this ran, have a listen.
Hi there. Sydney-based Kiwi who listens to your show every night on my way home from work. For the jukebox, can I request Dixon Dallas? Good looking. Aye, mate.
He's bouncing off my booty cheeks. I love the way he rides. I can hardly breathe when he's pumping deep inside. I kiss him on his neck and then he kisses on my pussy. Call him daddy while I holler, man, that boy's so damn good looking.
RNZ National. That was a song called Good Looking by Dixon Dallas. And perhaps a good lesson to us to lyric check songs for the jukebox.
Yeah, perhaps a good reason to listen to something before you might want to critique it. But it got worse. Oh, yeah, they didn't like swearing the first time. They got more of it.
I wake up in the morning with my bitch in the bed. For some reason she done made a whole lot of cry. Her name is Beretta and she motherfucking crazy.
Well, I recognise the chorus, but we got the wrong remix in there. She's sounding all right.
It's sounding great.
But I heard one bad swear and don't need that in the school hour, so my apologies to anyone who tuned in for that. We'll go to Thrift and we might have a chance to play the original after that.
Oh, great. Okay, the original. Can't wait. That was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. My kids were horrified. They'd never heard such language. Mr. Peacock, my friend, that's your own station, RNZ National. Heavens above. Be careful hurling rocks at the glass house. You just don't know what might come back. That's Mediawatch, and I'm Duncan Garner for this week.
Garner.
Yeah, enjoyed that. 0800 863 293. Dave, you're on the line. G'day.
G'day. This is going to be a little funny after that last segment that you just had.
Yeah.
I have a slight criticism about your new show on the new network, the platform.
I was standing in for 2 days, yesterday and today. It's just filling in for Michael Laws,
That's
mate.
good, because I'm thinking that's why you got that multi-hater comment. It's because you jumped on his network. And he has not a very fond fan base.
Yeah.
I found liberal thinkers.
I found that people were not overly. Hey, Talkback's full. Hey, mate, Talkback is full of all sorts of crazies. And that's what I love about it. You never know what you're going to get.
It certainly is, but I would class that particular host as a crazy too. I mean, his comments about the Dolphins were off the rails, mate.
Yeah,
calling them Down syndrome kids.
Yeah,
like
not right.
And his comment about, I'm guessing your friend, she's a Māori journalist who changed her name. I'm terrible with names.
That's my former partner.
Said, how dare he said, how could someone change their name? Oliver Plunkett is his real name.
I know it is.
How come he goes by Sean?
Yeah, it's not worth getting fired up
Yeah,
about.
he's a hypocrite.
Yeah, I know. But he's our hypocrite. He's our hypocrite in the media. Hey, mate, I'm doing 2 days there. I'm a contractor. I'm in, I'm out, and gone. It's
a bit of money that makes sense as long as you give pushback. Because I really like your content, and I've been vouching for you, being like, he's a great journalist. Why he might just jump on there for a short time and provide pushback
2 days, mate.
to all the crazies that ring
2
up.
days to bring a sense of
2 days. Okay.
bring normality, balance, and accuracy and the facts to the platform.
That would be great.
Good on you, mate.
Excellent. Finally, somebody.
Yeah, exactly, Davo. Hey, cheers, mate. Appreciate your call and enjoy your weekend ahead. James says, this is why the show is gold. Awesome slam dunk. Yeah, this is good. To Mr. Peacock, thank you for your involvement as well. That is us. This will be available as a podcast on Rover shortly. And wherever you get your podcast, that's where we'll be. We might take that slam dunk out and put it as a standalone, I think. Also, it's Men's Health Week, and I had a chat to a fascinating doctor about guy stuff. No holds barred kind of chat. We talked about our bits and our bobs and what to do if they don't work like they used to, and how to get it back up to full fitness again. Erectile dysfunction. We talked about that sort of thing. So check it out. You can find it where you get your podcast. It's all there. Thanks for your feedback and your support, and I do appreciate it. I'm Duncan at rover.nz, to my team Kalo, Miranda, Forrester and Zarina. Thank you so much, guys. We'll do this all again on Monday. And remember, life's no dress rehearsal. We've got to get out there and grab it. No curtain raiser. This is it. Good luck to the Blues. We live in one of the best places on earth, so get out and enjoy it. Go the Hurricanes. Have a great day. Take care, New Zealand.
That was Duncan Garner, Editor-in-Chief Live. Missed something on the live stream? Text Duncan to 3598 to listen back on the podcast. Want to get in touch? Call 0800 863 293.